Good afternoon. It is July 28th, 2025. You're listening to a little of column A, little of column B, hosted by Will Alimonos and co-hosted by Zach Bishop. How are you doing today, buddy?
What is going on, Will? Great news. Football camps have opened, and there's all sorts of news coming out. Pretty much nothing really, that big. We'll touch on a few things, but the even better news than that I am happy to announce, I'm in the best shape of my life. Some of these other guys also might be, but no, I am. I'm in the best shape of my life right now. I'm announcing it officially on the podcast.
What does that change?
It doesn't change anything. Just puts me right at the tippity top. These other guys, if they're going to be getting to announce before the season starts that they're in the best shape of their life, I wanted to announce that I was in the best shape of my life. So I've been working out extra hard, especially like the past month or so. And yeah, I think it's fair to say best shape of my life. Put it down. Put it in the newspapers.
Okay. I'll write it down. I didn't write much down today, but I'll write that down. Hold on, where's my? Yeah, I got it right here. What's today? I just said the date. I just said it. This is like
last week.
Do you want to tell everyone what you invented?
Yeah, I invented podcasts. This week, I invented. I'm in the best shape of my life. So it's been a big swing. In the past week. So if you could just mark that down, I want like the big events in my life. If you're like making a running tally of it, like that would just be nice to have. Just someone else, keeping an eye on that.
I tried to show some maturity by not bringing up you inventing the podcast last week. I really tried not to bring it up, and here you are bringing it up in the opening this week, where I've been biting my tongue on this. Can we tell the people that you reinvented podcast last week?
Well, I don't know if it was reinventing it. See, the problem is that in the summertime, we don't have nearly the structure that we do during the year. So we got to get creative. We've done a plethora of different ideas. I always you could just steal straight from like part of my take and just trying to like kind of go away from it. But as you can imagine, there's a lot of podcasts. They're all coming up with it. So like throughout the week, you just got to get more creative. So trying to think of ideas. And then sometimes, you're out and about and you think you have a good idea and it sounds good in your head, but you don't have it right on paper and it turns into like this quarter-baked idea. And so the way the idea came out from me to Will was, what if I just had a list of questions to ask you? But then there was like a distraction and then I didn't get like the next 3 parts of my idea. So yeah, that's just a pretty standard interview. So we didn't figure that part out.
I don't want to be drawn into this at all. This was your lead, your idea. It made me feel as if I don't allow you to ask questions, and then that
I know. Then I felt bad because then you were like, "Do you not normally get to do this?" And it was like, no, like I feel like I had certain things, and it was going to be like the segment, and it like going to have a name for it, and then it was just. Rather than, you gave me a little taste of the hosting earlier this summer, and I think I was just trying to, kind of maybe claw some of that my way.
And anytime you want to take the lead, no problem there. I didn't know what to lead with today. Today would have been a good day for me to say, hey, you know what? Why don't you make some decisions today? Because I didn't know what to open with, and I ultimately just said, I think it's football time. I think we're going to open to the NFL today. I think Sutton signing the contract and everything else you had written down here is what we're going to start with. So. I wasn't shocked that they gave him an extension. I was a little shocked that the money that it ended up being is $92 million like a crazy amount, or am I just not caught up with my NFL research yet?
It seems like a lot, but with the NFL, it's always so hard to follow because based on the signing bonus and what's guaranteed and what's not, it's just I don't trust it. And I don't have to be as concerned about it as I am in the NBA, especially with the with the second aprons. But I like it. They have a young quarterback over there, and so to have a guy that that you have played with, I think that's good. I think it's good for the team. Stability. I don't think Sutton is like a crazy star. Like, oh, now they're gonna make the Super Bowl, no problem. But just you want to bring this guy along.
Well, they couldn't let him go, but I don't think was he that good last year? Like I'm misremembering this a little bit. Like I know they had a good season. It was an overachieving season for Denver. Like definitely, no one's arguing that. But are they Sutton away from some real football? I guess we'll find out in the next couple of weeks when we kind of break down some of our division predictions. But I just thought it was a lot of money. I don't know what you could do better for him, and you kind of have to do it. But I thought it was a lot of money. I mean, fantasy wise, just factoring this in, do you think this number adds up to what you think he's going to get drafted fantasy-wise? Because I don't think he was that high of a pick last year.
haven't jumped in to do like the full sort of, not recap, but I guess preview of, the fantasy year. But he did come off of last year with 81 receptions. Like I was saying, from young quarterback from Bo Nix. That was the best of his career. So he's at least trending, I think, like in the right direction.
All right. Maybe there's hope. Maybe I got to do some more research and maybe break down some other contracts and have a little bit better idea. But there are some other things that I'm scratching my head about. It's just that, not that number. It's the Joe Flacco is now in line to get the number one reps. Does it even matter what team that we do? I even need to add a team. Like if it's just Joe Flacco is going to be your number one quarterback going into the season, don't you just have questions?
I think you should have a lot of questions. I came across this news. It feels like it was weeks ago, but I mean, camp just opened, the past week, so it must have been. And Flacco was basically out of the league, and then he's kind of come back and flirted with it a little bit. But you are exactly right. It doesn't matter what team this is. If you were coming into the year and Flacco is the guy, oh man, you really should. I feel like 90-something% of teams should come in. Maybe you're not expecting to win the Super Bowl, but you can at least fantasize a little bit about it. And hey, we drafted these guys, and usually if you're a bad team last year, you drafted higher, so you're more excited than some of the more some of the better teams. But if you're running Flacco out there as your main guy, I just don't see how you have any sort of excitement or any sort of like this might be a good year.
Would you rather have Flacco over Rodgers? Because I kind of went hard on Rodgers, and I actually might even say Flacco's probably had a better game more recently than Rodgers has. It's not a large margin, or I'm not saying it's like, a real difference here, but it's.
I mean,
I think we're in the same category.
The Browns are a mess. They made the big trade for Deshaun Watson. Didn't work out. Now they're pivoting, trying to recover this. They had a uniform unveiling where they on purpose had a guy fall off to try to make it go viral. Then that leaked. I just want to be far away from this team.
I don't blame you.
As well as you're revealing you're the Browns. You have like black and orange helmets. Like it's not flashy helmets. It's very like mundane, and so like your reveal, it just okay. Yeah, I guess they look a little bit different from your other helmets, but it just all around bad.
Was that situation scarier than the Justin Fields situation or the Stephon Diggs situation?
It's not scary. I get the Fields one was scary. The Fields one was actually scary because when you get the alert saying Justin Fields has been carted off, it's oh no, this is a season-ending injury. We've seen this before, especially this early, first week. We haven't even, guys are barely in pads, and all of a sudden, like, oh man, I wasn't even sure if Justin Fields was going to be the guy, but he was at least going to be, in the mix, and just trying to figure this out. Luckily, turns out it was extra precaution. But I think we got to be a little more careful with the. Or was he actually carted off, or was just a cart involved?
I didn't even know the story. I'll be honest with you. I didn't. This was when you've had this written down today. I didn't even know about it. So now I feel somewhat caught up with that, but I didn't even know. So what is the actual injury then? Do we know what's wrong?
It, like I said, I think it was just precautionary.
All right, yeah.
So I don't even know if they even actually announced it, but he was out. But now he's back doing 11-on-11 drills. So step in the right direction. But the Jets have had their issues. The way it was kind of spun on some of the podcasts I was listening to, and this was when it was still just like the news about getting carted off, was, is this better? Because now you're not even going to mess around with Justin Fields. You got some of the other guys. The Jets have a plethora of guys. I don't think any of them. It's more exciting than Flacco, but no, not much more. Not much more.
The one argument you've already made that they can't argue against is that they are committed to Justin Fields this year. That there's not a backup plan. This was what they wanted, and if this doesn't go well, I think they're going to deserve some blame. Is that fair? Like, that's before any of the football research. Is that fair going in right now? I think that's fair, right?
I don't think they're relying on him
for this year.
No,
you don't think so? I mean, this is a 1-year trial.
They have a handful of guys at quarterback.
Okay, I just thought Are we starting with him then? Are you not? You're not even willing to commit to him right now?
And now I'm looking at the list. Maybe I confused some of the other moves being made. I guess Tyrod Taylor is really the main backup right now.
And I'm not against that. I might even like that more. But I think they brought in this guy this year for this.
I thought there was more guys. I think I got him confused with somebody, or I got the teams confused. So this will be why we got to do our full.
This is a premature.
Next week. Yeah, next week.
Next week we'll know everything you need to know about the AFC and NFC East.
Yeah, the official depth part. There's not even an official depth chart out yet. So I'm gonna take a mulligan on this one.
No problem. I'm pushing too much. I'm excited. All right, I didn't know what else to open with. We had enough things. I was like, I don't know this kind of stuff. I guess we could talk about this. I didn't hear anything about this Stephon Diggs thing. Was this a fun story or a sad story?
No. This is just it's neither. It's a cute story. It's a cute football story.
Are we allowed to do that? Can we do that?
So the Patriots, they were having a pet adoption event at their first practice. So they had some of the players come out with different pets. Well, Stephon Diggs came out with a little tiny dog, and of course ran part of the way. There was like an archway to run through, but it's a little dog. It's not a player. It's not going to keep running in a straight line. So once it gets through, it like dodges to the left and then starts to make like a U-turn, going back to wherever they were coming from. So then Stephon Diggs had to chase after it. But I just like to, Stephon Diggs is out there. He's coming off of an injury. So just seeing, okay, he's able to chase after a small dog. Baby steps here.
Are we going to be covering Stephon Diggs as much in the actual season as we have in the off season?
Well, this news is on the much more positive side than the news we've had from him before. So I hope not. I hope it's all football. No more boats. I feel like football players and boats, it just doesn't. It doesn't go well.
I think you could be on the boat after you win the Super Bowl, but before or until you have a ring, no boats.
Duck boat only.
No boats until you got a ring.
No boats unless it's a duck boat.
I mean, the Brady trophy toss in Tampa is legendary boat stuff, is it not?
That's Tampa. I don't know how things work in Florida. Like that's different. That's way down there. Maybe they can get away with boats, but up here in New England, especially around football time, it's too cold to be on a boat.
Hey, can you explain something? You're just gonna transition to college here. What's going on with the ACC court storming fines? What?
Oh, are you happy? Are you happy? You made this happen.
I didn't make this happen.
You complained enough on this national podcast, and I was always the one that said, let's have court storming. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. I don't know if the international listeners listen for the for the college stuff, but yeah, maybe if they do, cool. But I was always pro court storming. You were always anti, and you're getting your wish. The ACC is following with, for sure, the SEC. I think other schools are going this direction, but it is a increasing penalty. First offense, $50,000. Second, $100,000. Third, $200,000. Some distinctions that make it different from the SEC. This is basketball and football. So if you storm in a football game and then you storm in a basketball game, that counts as your second offense, as well as in the SEC, if you storm the field, your fine goes directly to that school. The ACC, it doesn't go to that school. It's going to an ACC grad school scholarship fund. Never heard of that before, but okay. But yeah, I felt like we need to put this out there. This is a big win for you. You go ahead, take your victory lap. No more fun for the college kids.
It was abused. We had too many people abusing it. This is what happens. You could blame me, but they had people storming courts, shouldn't be storming courts. The schools that should never be allowed to storming. They abused it, right? It was
There's no rules. You're allowed to do. You're in college. It's a storm. It's not we planned this all out. It's a bunch of rowdy college kids that said, try to stop us. There's not enough of you to stop us.
It's not on the table for every school. It shouldn't be. There are certain games and matchups and seasons and points in time that add up that, yes, maybe you could do it. But there are too many schools that shouldn't have been doing it that were doing it. You can know that's true, and that's what happened. You can blame me for all you want, but they've used it. Right there, we had a good thing going. Everybody wanted to get on it because I'm sure it's a lot of fun. I'm sure it's incredibly exciting and dangerous, and that's part of the excitement, I'm sure, to some point. And then you're terrified, I think, at some point. So that's why we can't be doing it. But It's too much of a good thing.
I
They
think
had to slow down, and they couldn't slow down.
I think if you really dig into it and you do like a book report on this, you could find a few instances where you go and say, I'm making teams up, but hey, Kansas, you're Kansas basketball. You don't get to storm. Doesn't matter. Like it just don't. You're too good. Like that. That's how you're blue blood. You don't get to storm. Right. So that's how that works. But I don't think you're gonna. I don't think you're gonna find very many of them. I don't think that it was being.
Let me ask
I
you
don't think
this:
it was being abused.
all you court storming lovers, all right, all everybody, are you not going to watch now? Are you outraged enough? Are you not going to watch? You're like, oh, screw this game. I don't want to do this anymore. The kids don't get to go on the court or the field anymore. I'm not watching anymore. I'm out. Like, is it really? Is this even a deal breaker? This is nothing. What are we talking about? The game's over.
Is this the level?
It's not even part of the
you
game.
Can't complain about something unless you're not going to watch.
No, I don't think it changed anything.
Sure.
It's not even part of the game. It's after the game. It's involving people that aren't even in the game. Who are we supporting here?
College kids, the ones that are paying to go to these schools. I'll stick around extra for a court storming or for a field storming for sure.
Do you think
of all that revenue you're losing?
So, how many schools already have a certain amount of money put to the side already?
Yeah, that's a good question because I don't know how the finances of this work. Where I don't think these numbers are, especially 50,000, doesn't seem like a crazy amount of money, especially for the bigger schools.
It's also going to that foundation that they might already have to contribute to, and this could be like we either contribute through this or we actually give the money either way. It's like a tax write-off, I imagine.
And you're just like, we'll just give it later.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. The other big thing that again the ACC kind of copying some of the other leagues, and this is very much gambling focused. They're going to also do the injury reporting. So if you are more of a pro fan, you might not even realize that colleges weren't required to do this. Last year, the Big Ten and SEC started doing it. That, hey, before the game, you got to let everybody know in very public fashion who's hurt, who's going to play, who's not. And the ACC will be joining along in that. Get that gambling money.
Makes sense. I mean, Belichick confused that forever. That was crazy. Could you imagine betting on old school Belichick where it's like 95% of the roster's just on the injury report? Crazy.
Well, people were still betting that, in Vegas. That was still going on. And I think it would still, and I think it's still go on today.
All right.
I mean, we're exactly going to see this because Coach Belichick is at UNC at ACC school. So we'll see what comes out. And
you're anticipating.
I think it's difficult.
What's the percentage
for some of these injuries to figure out exactly?
60%, 70%. Tell me when to stop. How many percentage of this UNC roster is on the injury report every week? Over 50?
No. Do you know how many college football teams like that? I don't think that they have the same, and maybe they've changed it recently, but it used to be there wasn't a limit exactly. Where NFL, 53-man roster, boom. We all watch Hard Knocks, but towards the end, you really got to crunch it down. Where you look at those guys on the sideline, and then there's even guys that don't suit up for games. So that would be so many guys.
Well, while you're trying to save court storming, there's political powers trying to save the college kids from. I'm not even sure what this executive order is coming from. What are they trying to accomplish here? It's like the second we decided we were going to pay college athletes, and then it was like the rumors spread, and then suddenly it was like, wait, what happened? And now we're doing takebacks. Who's trying to save who in this situation?
You are exactly, I think, right on. Seems like a little bit of a take back here. So this was a recent executive order that the president signed. I think it's in the past week, pretty recent, titled "Saving College Sports." And the main takeaway, there's some more to it, but the main takeaway is it prohibits pay for play, and it clarifies that the student athletes are not employees of the college. What it really feels like is that the NCAA repeatedly got taken to court and got smacked around saying, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And finally, Saban got with Trump and said, please help us. We have to spend a ton of money on these players. We used to not have to spend a dime. Now, millions of dollars thrown about. So, yeah, the main thing, and I understand how this could be confusing because You have name, image, and likeness that came out. Now it was going to be at the start of this season, so I think this is going to impact it somehow. It just gets us more and more muddled. That it was going to be that the colleges were going to play the players directly. Now this is talking about third party. So I think this is almost like the second apron in the NBA. This is just protecting or trying to protect the billionaires just from themselves. Of I would like to give money to these players at these schools because I would like my school to be good, but then realizing you have to do that every year over and over again. And some people are saying it's not a sustainable model. I'll be interested to see that. But I think if you have a third party and they're interested in giving somebody else money, they should be allowed to do that.
Is there something concerning about we didn't even get to the season yet, and that this is I don't want to. I don't understand how this was prioritized by anybody. Like we'd already let the cat out of the bag. We were.
So that's yeah. So that's two different directions here. One, okay, the president of the United States is getting involved with this. Trump is now involved out of all the things that are going on. And anytime, any of the presidents, you're getting into sports. It was even when Congress was getting into, this was like a while ago in the 90s, you're getting into the steroids. You guys got like real stuff to worry about. Let us over here in the sports area, like we'll take care of this. We'll figure this out. You guys focus on like the real big problems and try to fix those. They're really hard. That's why you guys are getting paid for that. So there's that factor of it. But also you're saying, the season hasn't started yet. Well, I think that's why it's happening now. It's kind of like the off season, it's kind of like the unofficial ending and beginning of the sports season where, football is going to start. It'll go into basketball and, sure, baseball is going on, but even, college baseball is, been wrapped up. So for college, it's like football is going to ramp up in a hurry really soon.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I don't know. I don't know what else to really say about this.
And it just always goes back to once lawyers and people, politicians are getting involved, that's when it gets so much it's farther removed from the sports. And I'm sticking to my thought that, that I've had for a while now. The athletes are the ones that are playing. They deserve to be compensated.
Yeah. It's just crazy to me that it feels like they won the whole vote and everything, and like they went through the whole due process of all of this. Like if you're trying to get paid as any of these athletes, I feel like they waited, they went through all the stuff, they finally got it, and then it was just kind of swept away from them in some degree here, like or at least for this third party stuff.
Nah, not really. I would say it's like I was saying, like there's kind of like three things. There's the NIL, there's the colleges paying them directly, and then there's the third party part of this.
All right. I got two segments coming up. I'll let you pick which one you want to do first. I have the MLB Minute and the Hollywood 20. And yes, that's how long the segments are going to be.
I guess let's go with the MLB Minute.
All right, Rich Hill, 45 years old. I didn't even know about this. This was news to me. This might be like a prank right now that I'm reading this already on the podcast without letting you lead with it. What is this story?
This is exactly what you think it is. Rich Hill coming back to the majors for his 21st season. He dabbled a little bit last year, but he's 45 years old. And so this news came out almost a week ago. The Royals are bringing him up for a start. I would say he had a pretty average start. 3 runs, one earned run, 6 hits, 5 innings, just kind of right down the middle. Not amazing, not terrible. Amazing for a 45-year-old, but okay, cool. They're still having a rough enough time. He's getting a second start tonight.
There's nobody better. Is there like 7 leagues before you even get in the real league? There's not one like AAA, AA, or whatever league minor person?
I don't know. It kind of came out of nowhere, where we've seen Tom Brady, we're seeing LeBron, but to still be playing, just to still stick around. I feel like a lot of these guys, you just reach a certain point where it's so annoying just to like all the effort you have to go through, especially you mentioned there's all these other leagues. He's playing in AAA. I mean, that's almost like playing for basketball in the G League. You're not taking chartered flights. You're not staying at the nicest hotels. Like you have to really want this to make it back to this level. And I want to keep it as much to a minute as I can, but I want to read from this article that I found, and just the ridiculous of this of like, okay, he's 45. Gotcha. So here it is. Quote, since Hill's improbable resurgence with the 2015 Red Sox and 2016 A's. The 2015 Red Sox. The team from a decade ago. That improbable resurgence when he was 35. And now another opportunity. I just if you are that dedicated, I know we don't talk a lot about baseball, but it's summertime content. I feel like the respect there was, I was very impressed. There's not a lot of professional athletes that are older than me at this point, let alone that much older than me.
Do you wish you saw him? You were just at the game the other day. Like, was this interest you? If it was somehow convenient for you to attend another game and he was pitching, would you go out of your way to watch the 45-year-old?
I wouldn't go out of my way, but it would definitely be interesting.
Yeah, it's something. But you were at a game recently. What can you tell us about? Was it Bristol Motor Speedway?
I was not at Bristol Motor Speedway.
Oh, then where were you?
I was at Camden Yards. I was at the Orioles game, but the reason that the Bristol Motor Speedway came up is because that is a racetrack, and they're going to have a baseball game there. They've already sold 85,000 tickets, so that will break a record for most people to watch an MLB game. It'll be the first nationally televised MLB game played in Tennessee because they don't have a professional team. So, few things. But my main question back to you: pictures look pretty cool. You know what a oval, NASCAR track looks like, and they're gonna there's a baseball stadium in there. Do you have a favorite of these novelty events where you're playing baseball here, you're playing basketball in a football stadium, you're playing basketball on an aircraft carrier?
Nope.
Do you have anything?
Oh, that one's good too. The aircraft carrier is cool. But no, I got it. It's the hockey at the baseball. It's hockey at Fenway. I think they did hockey in Chicago. The outdoor game,
the Winter Classic.
Yeah, I think that's always really cool. I mean, Fenway's just cool, and it's like, well, you would never have a baseball game or an event outside in the winter, but the one event you could have is hockey. I think that's cool. I mean, what else you could do with Fenway in the winter? I just think that's a cool alternative versus all these others are.
They have had football games there.
Yeah, I'm sure there's tons of events like that, but that's the only one that kind of sticks out off the top. The carrier outside though, the wind is. That was wild. I remember, was it Michigan State Duke? I think it actually was. That was a long time ago.
No, I don't think it was. I think they did a couple of years. I think it might have been a doubleheader, and I think it might have been both teams were playing, but I know at least one of them got canceled because it was too slippery. Like the condensation, because it was outside, just didn't work out.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for MLB? Did we cover it? Did we get it all? Wait, is the playoffs start yet?
Well, just in this. Come on, when the playoffs start, it's not even close. Baseball takes forever. It's a long season.
Oh, so we're almost there. Are we halfway there?
Not even close. No, I wanted to put my 2 cents in. I'm out on every single event in a different stadium.
We couldn't open with this. I only wanted to do a minute. We could have just done this. Why did we?
This isn't baseball. This isn't baseball related. This is all of these things. All these novelty acts. I don't like any of them. That you built a stadium. You built these arenas for a specific purpose, and it works. It works amazingly. You can see all makes sense, and then you decide to get crazy, and then you're gonna have 85,000 people in there. Awesome. How many of those are decent seats? There's gonna be a whole bunch of them of cool. Like I guess I'm here, but no, I'm out. I'm out.
Well, you're the only one. Yeah, all right. The fan is the only one who loses in these situations. Everyone else wins. This is more money for everybody.
Everyone else? If the fans are the ones that you lose, aren't the fans the majority?
Well, I assume the team gets to sell more tickets, and I also assume the venue that wouldn't have this event otherwise gets to get something out of it as well, whether it's concession from even more people in an off season. That's a win for them.
Clearly, I'm in the minority because they've already sold a record amount of tickets. So clearly this is of interest to people, but it's not of interest to me.
You go to a lot of games. I'm shocked that this wouldn't be like a special game where you've been a bunch. You haven't been to this. That doesn't intrigue you at all?
No.
Man, all right.
No, because go ahead. Take a look at the pictures. And there are going to be some cool seats, and the aerial view, I think it looks cool. But if you are like at the other end, like you can't see. You see these pictures that people take at the at the Final Four, where you're at a football stadium and you're taking a picture with smartphone. It's got a decent camera on it, and it just you can barely see the court.
I relate to it. I wouldn't want to do it. I don't know how people do it. It doesn't seem like you're part of it. At that point, you're interested in the parking lot. Like you might as well just be watching on your phone somewhere else. And even that, compared to like how comfortably I watch it in my own home, doesn't sound better. Like I'm watching this on my phone this far away to be stuck in a bunch of traffic when I get out. Yeah, I'm good on that. That doesn't sound like me either. All right, enough MLB, enough all that. Let's do a little Hollywood 20 here, where we've got all sorts of stories within pop culture in Hollywood right now. I suppose the big news of the week is the Hulk Hogan has passed. And that's somewhat shocking, I suppose, to everybody. But I can't decide if this guy was super healthy or super unhealthy. Like, do you think this was a positive health role model or a questionable health role model?
Oh, I I don't think it was good, man. He was a wrestler for a while. I feel like you are doing anything and everything to get to those levels, and you're not in a sport that's testing for it. It's
Yeah.
the same way for an actor. It's hey, whatever you need to take to make sure that you can get as ripped as possible. So he was younger than I thought, but I think he kind of came before our time, and neither of us really being huge wrestling fans. I think it's just one of those like pop culture figures. Just like everybody knows Hulk Hogan, and for sure, if you're a wrestling fan, you know him more intimately. But he's in in a Rocky movie, way back in the day, and just everybody knows Hulk Hogan.
He's just a massive person. He's a huge personality. I think that's part of it, too. I mean, the size, I think, is ultimately what everyone, I think, should remember from him. But maybe the bandana hiding the balding hairline, maybe the size, the I don't know how to describe his vocal kind of performance, but there was a way he talked that I think has been mimicked and tried to be duplicated that maybe won't ever be the same as the original of that sort of voice and tone. And that's probably what I'm gonna take away from all this. But I'm not a huge wrestling guy, so it's not nearly as sentimental to me. Sorry if it is, but probably a guy gone too soon that who knows could have done more entertaining for us. I'm not sure where we're getting more out of him than what we already got.
There,
Is that where this stops here?
there was a lot of I'm gonna say there was a lot of weird stuff, and there was a lot of not so great stuff. There was some racist stuff that came out not too long ago, and then as typical it seems like of these situations of then part of the apology is more of like blaming other people than actually apologizing. It was like, all right. And he had some reality shows that tended to kind of go bizarre, but I think it's just when you're a wrestler and so you're getting attention and then you hit a point where you can't really wrestle anymore. I mean, you can do like special events, but especially what you hear, in some of these, documentaries about how many shows these guys were doing, and you're putting your body on the line. That I just don't think that all the all the screws were were still there after a while of all these hits that you take.
Maybe. All right, we gotta move on from that. Happy Gilmore came out last Friday. We did some fun Adam Sandler sequel predictions or pitches last week. I didn't really get any feedback on anything. Did you? Is anyone willing to buy any of our proposals or scripts? Do we need to quit this podcast now?
I've reached out to Sandler's people. I just haven't heard back yet.
Oh, all right. That seems fine. All right, but I finally saw the movie. Did you see the movie?
I did not see the movie. Was traveling over the weekend. That's the whole Baltimore thing. But I will be doing a double feature: Happy Gilmore 2 after the podcast today, this evening. It has been funny because it seems like it's been a very healthy, I mean, not healthy, but it just seems like it's been a very split mix of in like the same conversation I'll have with a group. There'll be two people that saw it, and one person will say, loved it, and the other person said, hated it. So do you have any, non-spoiler takes? It's a movie that the original came out about 20 years ago. So I think you always got to keep that in the mix.
I think if you liked the first movie and had the expectations of it being a similar type of movie in the second movie, that you will enjoy most of the second movie. It maybe gets a little sloppy towards the end, but the highs at the beginning I thought were very enjoyable. There's a lot of callbacks. There's a lot of callback characters. There's a ton of cameos. I don't even want to spoil all that, but the rewatchability of this is going to be like, wait, who was that cameo again? And you just going back and trying to uncover who that actually was once you find out who it was, I think is part of all of this. But I would say overall, the golfers are terrible actors in the movie, but I would still say this is a huge win for them. A huge win. This is way cooler of a look for them. I thought this was a cooler movie than Space Jam 2, and that maybe is a low bar that shouldn't be an accomplishment. But I I enjoyed I enjoyed the movie. I think they were trapped with some of the predictability of almost every single Sandler movie being very predictable, and they did something that was unpredictable, and nobody liked it. And I actually gave them a ton of credit for pulling that move. And the opening scene all of that will add up once you get to it. And if that sells you on maybe wanting to see it, which is part of making a sequel, is that you want to see what happens next. This sequel continues the story. It kind of fills in a couple gaps, and we get caught up. And then once we're in current time, it gets a little crazy, and that's typical for a '90s comedy, which is what this is trying to replicate. I think we have forgotten that because they don't get allowed to make these anymore, and now any of the scrutiny at all, I think it was like, well, do we want more of these movies or less of these movies? Because I think there's some people that don't like them, and they could just not watch them, and we can never hear from them again, and that could be fine. But for some of us that do like these movies, you're just ruining it for all of us. Like, I don't understand what is the harm done by making more '90s styles comedies? Like, who is this hurting is the real question of this. I didn't think anything was offensive about it, which is normally the bigger outrage with these comedies. So there was no offensive stuff, but there was bad movie critics now. Like, this is crazy to even measure this up to a critical analysis as if Rotten Tomatoes has ever loved a Sandler movie. It's I don't know who's so outraged over something that's so harmless in me to me. So I liked it.
Were people outraged? I wasn't coming across outrage. I was just coming across people that were just kind of like, no, I didn't like it.
Anybody who went out of their way on social media to say it sucked, I felt like that was outrage. This movie didn't need a comment. Like, who are you informing?
You have to remember, like, this didn't come out in theaters. It came out on Netflix. You already had Netflix, or you like Sandler enough and said, I'm going to get it. And they don't need to get a ton of people to watch this. They need the Sandler fans that said, hey, you know what? I don't have Netflix currently. I'm going to pay for the month worth of Netflix so I can watch this movie, and then you forget it for 6 months, and so you play for 6 months of Netflix. But I think that's much more what these streaming services have been looking for a long time. Is you're looking for that smaller group of diehards, not the huge, larger monoculture.
And that's fine. That's all this movie should have been. I was amazed the amount of attention it got anyways, because I didn't think that group was as big as it was, and I was just shocked that there was a group that even had interest to say it wasn't good. I didn't think it would be trending. I didn't think you thought this was like for sure going to be trending.
For sure. The original is a classic.
But that's with our generation, not with like the newer generation. We're in our 30s. Do you think people younger than that even care about this?
No, but we have the money now.
All right,
we have the money, and think about it. You and I don't, but people in the mid-30s, they have kids. And so you're bringing, or I guess not bringing because it's on Netflix, but you're showing your kids this. Like, you're excited. And I think that's another thing to remember about this is you coming in liking the first one, and then maybe you don't like the second one, and just also remembering, hey, you're not 14 anymore. Like, they didn't make this movie for you. They made it for 14-year-olds. That's why it worked for you in 96. It doesn't work for you anymore. You're a different person. That's fine. But remembering, like, hey, now all these movies are made like for you. Like that's I think a mature thing that I've come across is when you watch a movie and you could say, hey, I didn't really like it, but I don't care if other people liked it. Like, we don't all have to like the same thing. When you were making this movie, they weren't looking for someone, like this. But I think Happy Gilmore, was made exactly for people like me and you that watched the original a long time ago, can watch that again, have fun, and now there's a sequel. And I haven't seen it yet, but reasonable expectations.
Coolest thing I take away from all this, and I don't know if I haven't seen enough people talk about this, but Netflix does these demo video games. I don't know if you've seen some of them while you're scrolling, looking for whatever you're looking for. They'll come up every now and then. They came up with a Happy Gilmore Golf Mayhem 98 demo, and it looks like an EA Sports Happy Gilmore thing from 98. The graphics like match in 98, so it's like very pixelated and silly looking, but the game, just go check it out. Like, if that interest you at all of any sort of like 98 Nintendo 64 type of game, just check it out. I mean, you've got like Bob Barker as a video game character on there in the little trailer. I think it's worth checking out if you had any interest in the movie. I didn't play the game. I'm not really a big video game guy, but that was a cool, clever way of being like, we could do these simple little games that I think you just need a remote to play with too. I don't think you even need a controller.
Is it a demo or is it a legit game? It
It
might be a legit game. Netflix has legit games.
I think it's a legit game, but it's called a demo because it's obviously an unfinished 98 project is the joke of it.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So this might be specifically it's tied in, with the movie. Makes sense. But I mean, that's an interesting way that Netflix can go is tying these things together.
I thought that was super cool. And I just looked at the trailer. I didn't play the actual game, and I was like, this is awesome. If this came out any years ago, I would have been interested in this. If this came out when I was watching Happy Gilmore and actually had a Nintendo, it would have blew my mind. This would have been so much cooler than Tiger Woods, whatever, which I probably played, but this has got like side characters and there's boxing. This looked awesome, and it would have been awesome at a certain point in time. Speaking of maybe going back in time, a little child thing here. South Park's back, and I know it's not a kid show, but it has kids on it. Nobody's safe, Zach. Apparently nobody is beyond South Park, which is something I don't think we needed to know or need to inform anybody, but that was quite the debut. I think we got to be a little careful about maybe not spoiling everything here or maybe not getting too crazy into this, but South Park being back is something I just need to let on everyone's radar. If you're any interested at all in this is happening. And I don't even know what do you got for this? Where do I go with this? I wrote this down. You wrote this down. This is pure summer topics now. So what do we got?
I thought it was interesting. I wasn't sure if these guys were just not on the way out that they weren't relevant anymore. Of just you've been doing a show since '98, and like Matt Groening came out, the Simpsons creator, and he said, "Hey, I think we're gonna keep doing this until one of the cast members dies." And I even wonder if it gets to that point, with AI and what we've seen with Rick and Morty, if they go, hey, yeah, one guy died and, for sure there's a bunch of voices, but hey, if we can keep getting checks for this, will you keep doing it? And I'll be interested to see if it still, continues. I get the idea of, hey, reverence for someone, that passes away, but hey, these checks and, their family members still would like that money, but they've been doing it for so long. So it's like, hey, maybe they're just kind of, on the way, on the way out of, we just don't want to do this anymore. They got other projects. Maybe that's the way they were going, and they had a show. Season 26 was February of 2023, so over 2 years ago. So it was a year off. They did have some specials in early last year, on Paramount Plus. So it was a little harder to find, but got announced they were coming back, and then there was concern that maybe they weren't, and there was a deal with Paramount, and then they just signed. It was a $1.5 billion deal to make a bunch more shows. So, all right, gonna happen. And they came out episode 1 in, I would say, pretty typical South Park fashion of, other, comedies and other places are getting scared of, what's going to happen with the, quote, woke mob, or what's going to happen with the president. And they said, we're just going after everybody, and buckle up.
Did not
I
hold
don't know
back.
if maybe I'm getting older, but it was like it just seemed like they just did not care. It just went straight at people, and I guess I should have been expecting it, but I think even it was like, all right, they'll probably get a little edgy, and you and I were talking, and you wanted to watch right away because you're afraid it would get spoiled, which I think it was closer to you being concerned about that than I was thinking. Hey, they haven't made a show in 2 years. They might have something. They do the almost the SNL of like 1 week. All right now, a lot of stuff is live, but not everything. So I thought maybe they got something, a little bit older that, is not really topical. But oh man, this was all very topical.
I have no idea how they're going to top this first week. I don't know what direction you go. I don't know if you stay in this. I don't know if there's a lot that's happened, as you said, over this 2-year period that they could certainly make fun of in some form or another. It seems like they will always have a natural flow of current day content to, squeeze in there one way or another. I don't know where we go from here, but that first one was all right. Well, we got a lot. We got a couple more episodes, and there's a large playing field that these guys are now willing to go in. And I don't know where we go from here, but now this is very good. I want to see what happens next. Don't you?
For sure. Yeah. That's for sure. I mean, I was a fan of the show. So just like with anything else, like Sonny's back on right now, so I'm watching that. But where I'm always going to enjoy Sonny, there is definitely a level to this, like you said, of what are they gonna do next? And I think I have to be ready. I think I prepare myself.
I was not ready. I don't think you could be ready. I think you know that they're already brave and not really feared of doing all that, but I also think they're only going to do it if it'll actually be a laugh. And I this was this was as much in your face as you could have been. All right, speaking of want to know what happens next. I told you last week I was going to pitch you Dexter Resurrection, which is the newest season of Dexter. That is excellent. I don't know how else to say it. I'm so sold on it. All the old characters and callbacks are good, and the story is continuing on exactly where it left off. They're filling in other things. The cast is exceptional. It's a newer, modern era. It's in New York. It's got like cooler music. It's got cooler New York City detectives now. After like this is the new Dexter that might even be better than Dexter 1.0. Dare I say on the first season here? We're only got 4 episodes in. Uma Thurman, Peter Dinklage, Neil Patrick Harris, a whole bunch of other people already in and out of this. I'm so sold on this. I don't know what to tell you other than to try to explain how we got to where we got to here. So what are your picky nits and what can I do to sell you on it other than tell you I'm really enjoying it?
See, this is where some of those questions that I had, they're rattling around. This is where they're going to come up. So this is to help me, and this is to help some of the viewers because they might kind of be more where I am of watch Dexter. Watched it in the 2000 teens, and excellent show. Talked about was one of those ones that was on Netflix. Everybody could watch it, no problem. Showtime, and it ended. It ended in 2013, so over a decade ago. But since then, there's been other shows. Could you just like walk us? Could you walk us through? Could you walk us through the timeline of the different shows here?
After the original finale, which is notoriously known as a awful finale, and I don't think any fan of all of this. This is where it starts bad. Is all right. So we have a bad original finale. All right. I don't think we can really do the whole Dexter history without acknowledging that. Is that fair? Am I being overcritical, or is that like kind of a common knowledge thing that finale is not everyone's favorite?
I haven't watched the original in a while. In my head, I know I can picture what happens. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. And I remember at the time being like, "Oh, that wasn't good." But I'm wondering if since then, if I were to rewatch it, if it would be softer, and I wouldn't I wouldn't be as critical now. But I wouldn't know without doing a full rewatch.
Now that you know what happens, it feels a little bit better. But knowing that that's the end and that you might not ever get anything else out of it, it's terrible.
I see. That's probably it. Yeah.
So they soften that, and then they only do one season of the next season. It's Dexter New Blood. Dexter is in a relocated area once again, and an old friend comes to see him, and we carry on from there.
Was it Alaska?
We're out, and it's not Alaska. We are in a cold area. I believe it's upstate New York.
Okay,
is where you're at. So now he's out over there, and there is a Indian reservation nearby wherever this location is. I think it's upstate New York. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure he's still in the States. For all I know, he's in Canada. I don't really remember the details of all that. But from there, it ends, and it seems like that is going to be the end of it. And then after that season ends, they come up with a prequel show that's supposed to go before all of the original Dexters. And the confusing part about that is it's sold as a prequel, and it is entirely a prequel, except for that prequel show starts out with an opening scene picking off after the last season that we thought that was all it. And then that tells you it's not all it. You watch the whole prequel show, and then they start this new show, which is Dexter Resurrection, which is everything I just said, and it takes place in New York, and we have advanced that far along. And we are in current time, so it is an older Dexter. I think you had questions about that prior. And I'm into it. I think this is, I don't know where they're getting the money for this. Everything about this is big budget. I mean, we're in New York City. We have all those actors I just mentioned. The songs that are playing in opening scenes are big songs. I don't know what else to tell you on. All right. What do you want to picking it on this? I don't think I've quite answered everything here, but there's got to be a little bit more. Or are we done?
Okay.
We would move on here too.
No, we're not. No, we're not done. We're not done. I can't just have you like pitching me on this continually without like getting all these questions out. I feel like this is a good forum. Okay, so now I'm gonna get into the spoilers. So if you haven't watched Dexter, it was on like a decade ago. Some of the newer ones, whatever. But the latest one that I watched was the New Blood one, which it was cool. It was cool to get back into it. Like you said, hey, this was, that ending was a little bit rough, but now it's, oh, cool. We get more Dexter. But then at the end of New Blood, he dies, right?
He is shot in a very cold weather near a very, very convenient Indian reservation that heard the gunshot, ran to his rescue, and has rescued him. He is recovering from a gunshot wound. And
okay, gotcha.
the
Okay,
very,
so,
very,
right,
very
right.
cold temperatures have stopped his from bleeding out.
Gotcha. I watch superhero shows. All right, I can get back on it. But at the end of that season, they were like very clear, like he is dead. But all right, now we got more money. Boom. But is there not another show in between this?
There is. There's the prequel show, which for some reason
So then there's the prequel show.
has a opening scene of current day, and then everything else goes back to prequel. We're getting like Dexter's just joining the forensics thing. He's actually an intern when it starts. And it has all the same other characters, all in younger versions, all before the original Dexter. You kind of know what it leads up to, and it's the learning of the code, the invention of it all, the first times he's doing anything, the mistakes he's making, and it's got some big actors in that as well. And then after that ends.
He does the overview, right? Or not the overview. He does the
narration. Michael C. Hall does the narration, so he's still doing all of that. And
that ties that in.
That's also getting another season. So we haven't caught up to the original Dexter quite yet. So that's getting one more season. But then after that...
So there's going to be a prequel and a current one going on at the same time?
Yep.
It's crazy.
I don't know who's paying for it all, but yeah.
I don't know, and I don't know why I'm fighting against it, because I thought it was like at the end of New Bloods. Wasn't there some sort of handoff to his son? So then I thought, like, then there's talk about a prequel. Then I thought it was like, oh, well, now they're going to go and they're going to follow the son. Or am I way off on that?
No. They do. So the son leaves after you've already spoiled it, but after that happens in the last scene, Dexter's shot and his son leaves. The son takes off to New York City because he doesn't know where else to go, but he's in upstate New York, and it says the highway just says New York City that way, and he just drives till he gets to New York City. So he's in New York City. Everyone else within that little town of the last New Blood season that you just watched, you'd probably think that they want to arrest him and that they have enough against him and all of that. But there's so many missing links within all of this because the son disappears, the one officer is dead, and the other girlfriend officer is uninterested and just abandons everything and just gets up and leaves. So she's nowhere to be found because she wants nothing to do with anything of all of this. So it all just kind of goes away because there's nobody left, Zach. Like, so that's kind of how they pull that part off. Like, and it kind of makes some sense. It's a small town. Like,
if you're willing to buy it, then I could see how it could work. I think it was confusing that it just seemed like it was reboot after reboot after reboot where, like, I thought that season worked, but it seemed like the way they killed him off was, hey, like, we just want to do one season of this. Like, we were really angry about how it ended, and everyone keeps talking about how we had a bad ending, so we are gonna revive this so we can finish this in a better way. And now it's like more revived, but now it's crazy. Like you said, look, where's all this money coming from?
Dude,
now you have famous actors and music and locations. Like, that's the big three.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what else? I understand from you outside looking in right now, you're like, this looks so desperate. They went prequel and after off of the same character.
Right? At the same time?
And I'm telling you, the quality was put into all of it. It's Christian Slater in the prequel is like the main guy. He's Dexter's dad. Christian Slater's awesome. Look, I'm impressed with it. I'm going to continue watching it, and up to what I've seen to right now, they could even get. You know what? They've sucked me in enough to this act that I will handle one more terrible ending. Like I'll do it. They've sucked me back in enough times, and especially on this latest one, that I will handle a bad ending until it was all worth it. Because up to right now, it has been very good.
I believe you. It's just crazy the way that it's rolled out. Ended in 2013, then in 2021 it comes back up, and in the past 4 years there's been almost three, not quite concurrent shows, but like 3 shows in that time frame, which I don't think we've seen anything like this before.
It's 3 attempts at reviving a show that I'm not saying nobody wanted it, but there's certainly outrage, I think, over way more popular shows.
Maybe it's because just like the way it works, like you don't you don't need a ton of the characters. But you said they brought them all
Dude, no,
back.
but
So.
yeah, they're all in it. Yeah, I don't think there's anybody
Well,
who's
that was
not.
my. That's right. That was my argument. Was a lot of times you'll have a show and you go back and look and you're just kind of amazed looking at it, going, "Wow, like these guys is what they're doing early on, and now half of them are in Marvel movies." Where I just felt like a majority of these guys of those main characters didn't necessarily go on to have like superstar careers. Not like they're like struggling for work, but a lot of times you're not able to get a guy back. He's like, guys, like I said, like my default, like I'm doing Marvel movies now, and Marvel needs me in Atlanta like 9 months out of the year, and so you're just not able to pull it off. So that's just, I don't know if it's more luck or ability, but it's good for Dexter fans.
All right, I think that went better than expected. Let's wrap everything up with a little NBA talk. I've got some Celtics combo here that we're going to close out with, but for right now, Luka Doncic appears to be in shape, and this is a trending picture now on a what is it, Men's Health magazine. My big question of all this is he better now? Like, does anyone think he's better at basketball, or is it just a safer investment? Like, why do all the fans care?
This makes me so mad. I think it starts with the Zion stuff, and when he's not playing well, it's, oh, look how fat this guy is, and then when he's playing well, it just, how can you tell a difference? Like, there's different lighting in different ways, and then also, this isn't a superhero movie. That's not what people look like. Not even athletes don't all look like that. Like, you see guys, boxing. You don't think they're trying to be in the most pristine conditioning that they can be in, and they don't necessarily look like Wolverine, because that's not how it works. So when people are looking at Luka, well, nope, he's fat. It's like, I can't play basketball. And it's like, now going through this, he's doing all this crazy stuff, and it's all probably good. He's a professional, can pay with a professional trainer, and not like I'm going to be a better trainer. But then going in he didn't play basketball for a month, and yes, he's a professional. He could take time off. A lot of guys take time off, but this whole thing of, oh, look at him, look at his toned arms, now he can play basketball. It's ridiculous.
It's so
That's
silly.
not how basketball playing works.
No, he's not better at basketball now. He just looks like a safer investment. Maybe he'll have a longer career, but I don't think he's really hit the age now where do you think he's killed like
Even
years
there,
on his career
even
yet?
there.
Like, how many years has he taken off by not being in shape? I don't think he's taken off any yet. He still has time. This season was coming now or later or at some point. It's almost like you have more gas in the tank suddenly once you start actually taking care of yourself. He didn't need it, though, and now he's got it, and we'll see if it actually adds up to more.
You can get away with it, but I think we've talked about it a few podcasts ago. Rob Mack, from Sunny, he had that season where he got fat for it, and he did it in a strategic way where he was working out to make himself bigger, but also just eating garbage to give like that fat look. But it was a combo, and then a season or two later, just got incredibly shredded, and he posted about it saying, this is not healthy. Like, the way you have to do this, both mentally and physically, like, this is not the way you should work. Like, the athlete's goal isn't to look the best. So the whole, all right, his pictures and he's deadlifting, cool. I mean, I have all the reason in the world to be rooting against Luka, but it drives me crazy when you see like one picture and just, oh, well, nope, clearly not working out. Oh, good. You eating the Doritos from your couch while you're sending that?
Yeah, it doesn't move the needle for me. Neither does all this LeBron trade talk. They're not moving LeBron. I keep seeing Dallas is interested in LeBron.
He has no trade, Carlos.
Dallas is interested in LeBron. So now it's just going to be like Luka for AD and LeBron, and we're doing LeBron on the post trade. Like that. That's not.
What does LeBron want to do in Dallas?
I don't know. Why does Dallas want LeBron? All right, Celtics time. There's a dangerous rumor, Zach. It's going around, and it's very real. And that is the Celtics are interested in Ben Simmons. And I think that was a done deal up to yesterday. And then there was rumors that the Bulls have been so unable to move Nikola Vucevic that they might release him. And now we jump to maybe the top potential person of getting him if he is released. Now, there's another scenario where if they release him, he might sign with Golden State, which might upset Al Horford because he won't be able to sign with Golden State then. And that makes him possibly to come back to the Boston Celtics. What are we hoping for out of Chicago here? Do you want to just make a deal for Vucevic straight up right now, or is there Is there interest in Ben Simmons? Like what are we running from, and what do you want to happen here?
I think I'd rather have Vooch than Simmons, but I mean, there's a reason that Chicago doesn't want him. I mean, we need rim protection. He hasn't really been a rim protector much, if at all. As well as either guy, we don't have any money. Like to bring in either of these guys, we're not in the normal situation. This isn't 5 years ago where all right, well, it's gonna cost us in the luxury tax. It's no. Now we're gonna get ourselves farther away from the second apron. So this is going to have to be some sort of trade. So we're going to have to give up stuff for this. I don't think, I do think the Simmons stuff. I think it's just rumors. I don't think there's any real truth in there. When was the last time the Celtics made a move, a signing, a trade that leaked ahead of time and then came through?
I don't know. This was a tanking move.
That ship has been super duper tight, and it's almost like once you hear a rumor, you just know, nope, that's not true. Like I would be more surprised if in the next 2 weeks we signed Simmons or even Vooch beyond like we signed someone that was not even on the radar. That's the way I think it would work.
I'm not sure. I think this is gonna be a tanking move. I think we're gonna be out this year. I think we're just Jalen's gonna start late. Tatum's not gonna come back, and that this is just gonna be a year where we just don't have it. And if you ask me, throwing in Simmons
Do you
in
think
there,
we could be that? I don't think we can be that bad. It may be right
if Jalen's
if Brown gets if Brown gets an injury, all right, now it's okay. Now we're really bottom of the barrel. But I think if we have the team we have now, I don't think that we're contenders. But to be tanking, you got to be all the way bad, and we're not all the way Wizards bad.
We could be all the way Dallas bad, and guess how bad they were. They weren't that bad, but they got the number 1 pick.
Dude, that's crazy. That's a crazy way to live your life. That's not how it's supposed to work. Could it work? Sure, maybe, but that was what, a 1 point something percent chance?
Well, that's their same chance to win the championship. Is probably even less. Like I think we're leaning as if we're favored one direction or another, and it's like, well, which one's easier to go, and which one helps us next year? Like you want to save this year, and there might not be any saving, and there also might not be any control of ruining it either. But I think if Jalen ends up, not starting off the regular season super hot, or maybe lingering injury here, he's still getting this knee thing, and if we take him out, there's nothing left. It's just Derek White.
We've done the tanking thing before, and they've made it even harder. So then you just have a year that is just awful, and then you end up with a 6th pick. And luckily, we were going to have Tatum coming back, so that's going to be different. But I just feel like you have bad. You create bad habits. Guys aren't going to be happy. This is a team that the good chunk of them were expecting to win, did win a championship. So to have them have to just eat it, I just think that's going to be. I think it's bad karma. I think it's a bad idea.
Maybe. Or maybe we're the Golden State that just completely whiffed on a COVID Wiseman year. Like, what if we could have that pick? I've already started the scouting. That's how committed I am to this. All right, I'm looking into next year's draft. I think we're going to be really bad this year, and it's not going to be up to anybody. Like, I think Brown's going to miss a ton of time.
I think we're gonna try our best.
All right. The East is so bad that even our worst might be like 6th place.
That's what I mean. Our bad, where we're not having a good year, is still gonna not be like tanking level bad.
Yeah. I want to remind everyone to subscribe. Little of Column A, Little of Column B, hosted by Alimonos and hosted by Zach Bishop. You can follow him on his X account, which is
Wicked Z-Man 24.
And make sure you subscribe. YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you get your podcasts. Zach, what are we going to do next week?
We are going to start NFL previews next week.
I'm very excited. I wasn't ready. And then this week was the week where it was like really hurting, where there wasn't anything on. I had to come up with a 20-minute segment about Dexter. Like this was just, we need football. Like something needs to be in my life right now. I can't control I tried baseball over the weekend. It didn't go so well. I thought it might go well. It didn't. I need football. So next week, 5 weeks away, we'll do the 4 weeks of the divisions, and then 1 week, a couple days before the season starts, we'll do our picks. and then we're just in it, and then we're in it again. No more
Then we're
summer
in the
content.
mix.
I'm exhausted from
mix.
summer content. I was so worried we weren't going to have anything any of the last couple of weeks that this week I was like, I've already unloaded everything. I have no more takes. These all feel so dated. There's such like the plan B or plan C of what we want to talk over the last couple of weeks. I don't know how we got through today. I don't know how we got over an hour any of the days, but we did it.
Professionals. That's how professionals do things.
Yeah. Professionals. We'll be back.
Little column A, little column B.